In this video, I'll demonstrate cutting a hole in your airfoil skin using an abrasive disc. As with any other cutting tool, the protective plastic must be removed before using the cutting tool on the aluminum and mark directly on the aluminum the location of the cutout. The abrasive discs come in different types, sizes, and thicknesses. This is we like to use a nice flexible one here. I have one here that is fairly heavy duty for cutting steel. It doesn't flex in your hand very well. The kind that we use here at SAIT, you can easily flex it with your finger. It's a high-speed cutting tool, an angle die grinder or a straight die grinder, in which you would mount the mandrel and with the abrasive disc on it onto the tool. These are the wrenches that we have to tighten the collet on the tool. There's tightening direction. Spin it all the way down. It's the same for putting in a rotating file, putting in the abrasive disc. You're going to tighten it just snug, not over tighten it. Don't have to worry about it falling out, just snug. If you over tighten it, it just spreads the jaws on the wrenches. So I've mounted it in an angle die grinder, and I could use an angle die grinder to cut around my pattern, which I've laid out on the skin for demonstration purposes here. Or we can use the straight die grinder with a little zip disc in it, which I'm going to use for this demonstration. So just like when you did your doubler, you laid out a pattern for the hole, indicating the radiuses and the corners for the cutout. Here I've transferred that same cutout onto the airfoil skin, marking the radiuses in the corner with a 1/2 inch red ink, using a hole gauge to get my ink mark on there, and then identifying the center of the radius, the hole, and I'll drill it with a pilot drill. It could be a number 40 drill or a number 30 drill. Here I've got a number 30. Set it there, give it a little twist, little shot, check that it's centered, and drill through. It's important when you're cutting with the abrasive disc that you always cut to an existing hole or an opening. Now I'm going to use a uni-bit, which I've pre-identified with a felt marker here, indicating the 1/2 inch mark, and I can see this here. I can sit my hole gauge over top. That's how I checked out where it was. Plug in my air. And I'll open up all 4 corners, providing a spot to cut to the correct radius, so right to the red line. Stop and check. Make sure you don't go too over the blue line. That's the right size. Okay, so I've got my radiuses for my cutout on there. Another thing before you use the abrasive disc cutter is it produces a lot of swarf and everything, so it's a great idea to use a full face shield. Otherwise that swarf comes right into your mouth. And so we'll place the full face shield on. Plug in the disc. And I'm going to do a long cut first, and you don't want to go too close to the existing line until you've built up a fair bit of confidence in using the tool. And I suppose another thing wouldn't hurt is to put a hole maybe somewhere in the middle, just for practice. If you've never used the tool before, gives you a feel for the way it's going to cut. Now I'm going to cut from this side here. Hold it firmly. It has a safety guard. That's why I like to use this one here. Pull the face shield down. Hold the tool very firmly in your hand so it doesn't jump or move, And cutting through the hole, you see how easily it cuts through, making a nice straight cut. This is a great tool for doing straight lines, straight cuts. Doesn't go around corners at all. So I'm going to come over here now, close to the blue line, and start and proceed all the way to the other hole. I got my first cut all the way through from this hole to that hole there. You'll see I was holding the tool very firmly, not allowing it to jump out. And the deeper you can get the cutting disc, the easier it seems to cut through it. So we'll do a sideways cut, and I'll make a mistake on this one here so you can see what will happen if you haven't got control. I was trying to cut a little beyond the hole and hit the edge of the material like this here. Letting the cutter go too far. I was not restraining it as it got near the hole, so you want to stop just slightly before the hole, like this one right here shows the cut stops just before the hole to avoid that. I'm going to cut on this side now, from this hole to this hole. See how quickly and accurately this cuts the skin in the hands of an expert. You may not feel confident enough to do this and you want to use a hand nibbler or some other means, that's fine. But if you have the confidence and you're willing to practice, stopping it just before like that. And that's all there is to cutting with the abrasive disc. You see I've got a fair bit of filing to do on this side here. I've minimized the amount of filing over on this side and on the bottom and top. So just with a little bit of hand filing or power filing, I can get that down. And don't forget to deburr, smooth all your sharp corners. And that's all there is to cutting with an abrasive disc.